Hello everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at this 2015 Ford Kuga, and today's review is taking place at Hegarty's Ford, situated in Letterkenny, County Donegal. For all contact information in regards to this dealership, please see the description box below. So in today's review, we'll be looking at the interior of the car. I'll explain how all the features work, also start up, look at the engine, cover the performance data, and take the car on a detailed test drive. So, let's get started. So the Kuga comes with a completely keyless push button ignition, so I'll just leave the keys in my pocket. Got your 4 electric windows and electric mirror controls, as well as this button here for power folding them. Manual adjusting seats. So to power on the vehicle, the engine start stop button is located just down here. Press it once to activate the auxiliary power. Then just apply the clutch and hold it in to start the car. So this car only has 54 kilometers on the clock. It's got very nice gauges, blue needles as well. Also has a 4-spoke leather wrap multifunction steering wheel with electric rack and pinion power assist. Very nice feedback. It also got very nice 10 and 2 notches here, getting thick. It also has cruise control as standard on the Zetec model. You also got your trip computer controls located here, as well as your radio and Bluetooth controls off to the right. Now if we look at the screen here, it gives you a digital reader for the compass as well as the temperature. And you can also go through things such as the trip computer here, and it'll tell you how far you've traveled and how far until it's out of fuel. So in this case it's got 44 kilometers left. And also if we come into the center console here, you can see the radio cluster is designed the same as in every other Ford these days. Sits up nice and high. Small little screen. The sound quality is quite good. And then you got your basic controls here, for example the CD ejector, your CD player, radio, auxiliary, phone and menu controls, and then you got all your preset stations here. Very easy to operate. And then down here you got your standard air conditioning controls, as well as the vehicle's start-stop system. It also has a 6-speed manual gearbox, very smooth shifting of the gears, and then to engage reverse, just pull up on this, left and up. It's also got a very nice e-brake lever, good in size, very unique design to it as well. It's also got 2 integrated cup holders, 12-volt power outlet and a center armrest. Good deep storage area. It also contains your auxiliary and USB jacks. Very nicely designed interior in this car. Got your sunglasses container and your standard interior lighting up here, as well as your illuminated fan dimmers as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back seats real quick. And the car's just speaking there to tell me it lost detection of the key fob for a brief moment. So legroom back here is very good, as you can see. Got loads of it. That's the same story with the headroom. Again, it's excellent. Small storage area here, and it's also got another 12-volt power outlet. Now if we just come around to the boot here, the boot space itself is very good. It's got 460 litres of room. It's also got this very nice cargo cover that just retracts back quite easily. And of course it's completely removable. It just clips out of the slots on each side there. So the seats do fall flat, but as you can see there is quite a big lip in the way. Shouldn't be too much of an inconvenience, so I reckon you can still haul things into the rear of the vehicle very easily. So we'll just turn on the hazards, as well as the headlights and the front and rear fog lamps. And all 4 windows are fully automatic. We'll take a quick look around the exterior. The exterior colour is called Panther Black Metallic. Got very nice ridges in the middle of the bonnet. Give the car a more sportier design. This particular Kuga is a Zetec model and it's very well equipped. Comes with these very nice 17-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels. It's got ventilated steel disc brakes in the front but solid discs in the rear. It also has the independent McPherson strut suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. Very nice chrome design bezels. Also got your roof rails as well. And it looks quite good from the rear. It also has the dual exhausts. Again, just adding to the overall sporty styling of this car. It's also got rear parking sensors. The overall length for the new Kuga is 178.1 inches. It has a width of 72.4 inches with a height of 67 inches. And the total wheelbase is 105.9 inches. The engine is a 2-litre turbo diesel. It produces 120 brake horsepower with a top speed of 112 miles per hour. It also produces 243 foot-pounds of torque, and Ford say this car can get about 60 miles to the gallon. So we're going to go ahead now and take the Kuga on a test drive, and I'll be able to give you guys a lot more opinions on the overall ride quality and some of my personal opinions on what I actually think of the car overall. Okay, so we're just going to get started on the Kuga test drive. Okay. Okay, so my first impressions of the Kuga. I do notice you sit quite high in this, which is obvious enough for a crossover 4x4. It's got a very big windscreen. The all-round visibility in this car also seems to be really quite good. It's got good sized door mirrors. It's got a very good sized rear window there, and it's got the rear quarter windows too, which is also handy to have. This particular one I have is the 2-litre turbo diesel. Now this one puts out 120 horsepower. You can also get this engine putting out I believe 140 and 160 horsepower. I get the exact specifications. I'll have them listed in the description box below along with the pricing of this car. So, things about the Kuga. Well, a little history lesson. I drove the previous Ford Kuga, I think about a little over a year ago. It's on my YouTube channel, and I enjoyed it very much. The first generation of the Kuga, which is what that was, came out in 2008, and then in 2013, this generation came out. For 2012 though, this car came out earlier in the United States and Canada, and is actually sold as the Ford Escape. It's got a few different engines compared to what we have in the European market. I believe they're mostly 2-litre petrols. I think one of them is a V6. Okay, so right now we're out in the back roads. I've been over a few bumpy patches so far, and I can say the ride quality is very good in the Kuga. As I was saying, it's got a multi-link rear suspension, which helps soak up the bumps very nicely as well. It's also got very comfy seats as well. Good amount of side bolstering on them. They really grip you and hold you in quite well. Now I'm just going to drive out here a little longer and we'll see what it's like. So at the moment I'm quite impressed with the Kuga. The overall ride quality on these bumpy back roads is very good. It also handles nicely as well. There's a little bit of body roll, but not too much. It's really quite smooth and level. So we're going to take it onto the dual carriageway in just a moment and we'll see what it's like out there. So let's see what the overall acceleration is like. Yeah, it's quite good. I will admit I've driven diesel cars that have a bit more pull in them, so they do. This one is the 120 horsepower model. If I were buying one of these, I think I'd get one with a higher engine output, such as the 140. But it's not too bad really. I'm in 5th gear right now, into 6th. Gear ratios are very nice in this car as well. Gearbox is lovely to use, very smooth gear changes. Now this particular one I have, as I was saying, is a Zetec and it's front wheel drive. Obviously you can have a 4-wheel drive version of this car. I think the overall styling is quite nice as well. It's not too bad looking, although for those of you who watch my videos on a regular basis, you may have seen my review and test drive of the last Kuga. Now, I said during that review I thought that the last Kuga was probably a bit better looking than the current one. Now, I think I still stand by that. The new one doesn't look bad, it's not an ugly car, but I think compared to the last one on the styling front, I think I preferred the original one, the first generation Kuga. But this isn't too bad anyway. I certainly like the way the interior is laid out. The steering wheel is lovely in your hands, the 10 and 2 notches, lovely to grip onto. The radio, I like the way it sits up nice and high. Some radios in cars, they sit down a bit low, so there's a lot of fiddling around to do, and sometimes you have to take your eyes off the road, which is quite dangerous. But in this, it sits up good and high. It's nice to use as well, it's lovely. The Zetec model is very well equipped too. I mean, it's got cruise control, which is easy to use as well as using it earlier. You've got your air conditioning, your Bluetooth, engine start-stop. It's a really, really nicely equipped car. There are, of course, a few other higher spec models like the Titaniums and the Titanium X and X Sport and so on. But really, I actually like the Kuga. It's quite nice, so it is. Although, there is a question, how does it compare to something like the Kia Sportage? Now, I've driven a few Sportages in my life, and I think I've filmed 2 of the test drives. It's an interesting comparison. Although I do like the Kuga, I think there's something about the Sportage that I prefer. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think I prefer the styling of the Sportage and the overall layout of the interior. But in saying that, I mean, the Kuga isn't bad. I mean, both of these crossovers, the Sportage and the Kuga that is, are in the same price bracket, and the Kuga does sell well. There's a lot of them around. The market for crossover SUVs these days is crazy, so it is. Everybody's buying crossovers. The sales of 4-door saloons have been going down as a result. As a matter of fact, I was told there by the Ford dealership that I got this car from that the Mondeo is not selling as well as the Kuga. So it's interesting, but people, for some reason, they do love crossovers like this. I think it's just people kind of think there's a lot more room in them than a saloon. There's more space in the back, and they have a lot more boot room. Now, I will admit the space in this car is quite good. There is a lot of room in the back, so there is, as I was showing you guys earlier. Legroom is excellent, and so is headroom. You'd be great back there on a long distance journey, and also the boot itself is massive. So I'm just arriving back here to the dealership. To sum up the Ford Kuga, I do think this is a good car. I think it's nice to drive. It's got an economical diesel engine. It's spacious inside. There's a lot of room in the back, as I was saying. It's got a very large boot. But I've been comparing this car the whole day, really, to the Kia Sportage, because they are the same kind of car. They're in the same price bracket. They're both crossover diesel SUVs. And I think if it were my money, if I had about 30,000 euro to spend on a crossover like this, I think I would go for the Sportage, simply because I think it looks better outside, and I think it looks even better inside. I just prefer the overall styling of the Kia to this. In saying that, this is not a bad car. It is really, really quite nice inside and out. It's lovely to drive. So that's really my opinion on the Kuga. I think it's a good car, but for me personally, I think if I was buying something like this, it would have to be the Sportage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. As usual, I'll have all the details regarding the dealership there, and all the pricing and specifications for the entire Kuga range listed in the description box below. So please be sure to check that out, and stay tuned to play more reviews to come.